Welcome back. We're talking about whether low-income minorities, mostly African Americans, are being unfairly targeted in some U.S. cities and towns to help raise revenue. Joining us from Michigan is James Taganelli. He's a retired police officer and the current president of the Police Officers Association of Michigan. And with us here in Washington is economist, author, and commentator Julianne Malveaux. Thanks to both of you for joining us. Julianne, let me start with you. We just heard from Commissioner Charles Ramsey there. He says you can't blame police for this. They're merely carrying out orders. Does he have a point?
No. I'm listening to him and I'm like, primarily because a lot of this depends on police discretion. And much of the discretion allows them to disproportionately stop African Americans and Latinos. Let's just look at the case of Sandra Bland, which we recently experienced. She changed lanes because a police officer was behind her. So she moved over and then she got cited for an illegal ticket. Now, I'm not saying that the officer is responsible for her death, but he's at least partially responsible. If you looked at that video, you had to cringe at what happened to her. But it's not the only one. With the speeding, parking, other tickets, here's the question we have to ask. Have you targeted certain neighborhoods? Are you giving tickets at the same rate in neighborhoods that are predominantly African American as in other neighborhoods? So Commissioner Ramsey, who I respect enormously, I think was spot wrong in much of what he said. He gave, of course, the police the benefit of the doubt, and I would give the citizen the benefit of the doubt. You just don't stop people. If you looked at what happened under Rudy Giuliani, right, 60% of African American men had been stopped. They'd been stopped for jumping the turnstile in the subway, but some of them, Butch Graves, son of Earl Graves, publisher of Black Enterprise, was simply stopped coming out of the train station.
Okay, let me go to James. James, I mean, we heard quite a few things there. I mean, do police target neighborhoods? Do they target particular groups of people? And did Commissioner Ramsey have a point there when he said, look, you can't blame the police this. We can't lay the blame at their door because they are just carrying out laws that were made and implemented and passed by others?
Well, with due respect to Ms. Malveaux, I have to tell you, I think Chief Ramsey is probably the highest regarded law enforcement guy in the United States, in my opinion, and I don't think he said anything that I wish I wouldn't have the capability of repeating. In our state, in Michigan, it's much different. You're not reading about racial stops in Michigan or profile stops in Michigan. That's history here. We're 6,000 officers. We have 6,000 jobs available right now that we can't find people to take. So we're not out there hustling people because of race or ethnic background or neighborhoods. In fact, in our state, writing someone a ticket that's going to lead to a warrant arrest is nothing but time consuming. In our state, we want to stop a guy. If we're going to stop somebody, what we're being told to do, this is what we want to do, is write somebody a ticket that's going to go pay it. Because it's all about revenue in this state. It's terrible. When I was on a job, the vehicle code was, the safe and efficient movement of pedestrians and traffic. Get from A to B without getting in an accident. That is history. That and the discretion that was brought up earlier was something that an officer was able to do at the scene of the stop to say, does this guy need a warning? It's about correcting behavior. Does he need a ticket? Now that discretion is gone. Now the reason for the writing a ticket is gone. In this state, it's not about correcting behavior. It's not about safe and efficient movement of traffic. It's all about revenue. And a prime example of it is in our state, you stop a guy for speeding, what he'll do is go to court and plead guilty to impeding traffic to save points on his insurance so his insurance doesn't go up. And we're happy to do it because they pay. And that's the judge, Julian, that's the magistrate, and the officials.
We're going to have to keep it short. We're running out of time, but go ahead.
The whole notion of these tickets are generating revenue is very much part of the problem. You have these folks who have quotas. There is a judge outside Waco, David Vizcarra, who quit his job as a judge because he said he couldn't deal with the quotas. So when these police officers have quotas, there's pressure on them to write more tickets. Now, maybe not in Michigan. We've heard the case here. But in so many places, in Ferguson, there's a quota. In other places, there's a quota. And so if you have a quota, what's the easiest ticket to write? Probably it's in the African American or Latino community.
But it's not writing a ticket to someone who won't pay it. In Michigan, quotas are illegal. So here's what they do. They say that your evaluation isn't good. So that means a promotion. It means a special assignment. It means you get a different shift. That's how they do it here. Nobody's told to write tickets. Nobody's told to write a number of tickets. They're just shown what happens if you don't keep up.
Well, you know, Michigan may well be an aberration, and from what you said, it could well be. However, we know in Ferguson, we know in so many other places, if a judge quits because he can't deal with the quota system, that really says that it's out of control. And while no one wants to say
that the United States is a mirror image of Ferguson, Missouri is a huge stretch.
Okay,
if you want to rely on Michael Brown and Ferguson, we could do it all night, but that's not what's normal in this country.
Right, James.
What's normal, sir, is revenue generation. What's normal is the fact that some jurisdictions have at least half, 60%, 40% of their revenue from which they pay people due to tickets.
If everybody's got a warrant, they're not getting revenue.
We are going to have to leave it there. We have run out of time. Thanks to both of you for joining us. That's it for this edition of The Heat. I'm Anand Naidu in Washington, D.C.